Welcome back, everyone. Vav Amid Aleph. Zechus SOTAH. Zak the Mishnah. Ve'elu asuros milachol betruma. The following are usher to eat truma. The following women who are suspected to have committed adultery, as we'll see, are usher to eat truma. Ha'omeres tameya nilach. If a woman says to her husband, "I committed adultery," then she is usher now to eat truma. There's a discussion in Tosfos how a woman's allowed to incriminate herself. But if she says tameya nilach, I committed adultery, then she is usher to eat truma. V'shaba'o edim. Or if edim come and said that she committed adultery, she eats tameya. V'ha'omeres eini shotah. And if she says, "I don't want to drink," she doesn't have to drink, but now she's usher to her husband. V'shaba'o eini rotza lashkos. Or the husband doesn't want her to drink, doesn't want her to blow up. Balamai says she's going to be usher to him now. V'shaba'o ba'aleh b'derech. Or if the husband had relations with her on the way to the base of Mikdash to drink, which is usher, because when she's a suspected SOTAH, she's usher to her husband. So any of these cases, the Maisa, she's usher to eat truma, assuming the husband's a Kohen, because for all intents and purposes, she's not married to him anymore. She says, "I committed adultery," or Adam comes and says she committed adultery, or she says, "I don't want to drink," the husband says, "I don't want her to drink," or they had relations on the derech, so the Maisa, she's usher to truma. Amar of Amram. Rav Amram says in the Gemara, Ha milsa amar lan Rosh Hashanah va'aner lan einin mimas nisan. The following words, Rosh Hashanah says, and then he enlightened our eyes from the Mishnah. He said words, and then he brought a proof from our Mishnah. What was the words that Rav Shesha said? SOTAH sheyesh la'edim in Medinat Yam ein hamayim bokim asaf. We're going to talk about this the entire day. He holds, Rav Shesha, that if there is a SOTAH who has Edim somewhere out in the world who know what she did, then the mayim will not work. That means we know that the mayim works. The mayim will come if she was in the star, if she went and she confined herself with a man, she was warned, and now the mayim says she needs to come drink. So we know the mayim works. If she was innocent, she's not going to blow up. If she's guilty, she's going to blow up. Says Rosh Hashanah, I want to add one caveat, which is a pretty big caveat. If Lamaisa, you can't find it. Maybe
I'm sorry.
Vav Amid Aleph. You see the Mishnah in the middle? In the middle, all the way in the middle.
Oh, take it so much.
And now we're in the Gemara.
Okay.
Okay? Amar Rav Amram. So Rav Amram says that Rav Shesha says, Lamaisa, if there's somebody in the world that knows about it, even if they're not here in front of us, the waters will not work, which is pretty wild. Because we always thought, Lamaisa, okay, the waters are going to work regardless. So there's Adam who happen to know about it in America or in Canada. Very nice. Why should that affect anything? If she was Mizana, then the water should work. Says Rosh Hashanah, if she was Mizana and the waters would work, it doesn't matter. Once people know about it, the waters will not work. Well, what would happen? Well, either the Adam will never come and she'll be off the hook, because she'll drink and nothing will happen, or the Adam will eventually come and say she was Tamei, and then she'll get killed, because the Maisa then she committed adultery. But as soon as there are people that know about it, the waters will no longer work. What's this based on? Is it just made up? No, he says it's based on the pasuk. Says Rosh Hashanah is my timer to Amar Krav and Nistira v'hinitma, because it says ve'eid ein ba. Now the pasuk shad in Gemara means ve'eid ein ba. There's no aid that sees whether she was mizan or not. But he learns, not only does it mean there was no way to saw whether she was mizana, deleka diyadaba. That also means there was nobody who knew about it, even if they saw she was mizana. Lafuke hada'ika diyadaba. That means in the case where there are those who know about it, so the pasuk shad is ve'eid ein ba, we have nobody in front of us. The deeper pshat is ve'eid ein ba, it only will work if nobody knows about it, even if they're not in front of us. But as soon as there are people who know about what she did, that she was mizana, or she was a mizana,
there's always at least two Eidim now.
there were two Eidim that she was an istara. But now we have two Eidim that knows what she did in the room. They're either those two Eidim, or let's assume there are other two Eidim. There are two Eidim who come to Beis and said she was an istara after being warned. So now she's got to drink. But now, the Rosh Hashanah is telling us, if there happen to be two other Eidim who we don't know about in Beis Din, but if there happen to be two Eidim who were in the room with her, and saw her mizana, and then ran off to America, L'maisa, the Metzia says that God is going to make the waters not work. Because Xeris God says, ve'eid ein ba, nobody knows whether she was Nistara or not. Nobody knows whether she was Mitami or not. People know she was Nistara. That's, we have to have Eidim in order for her to drink. But nobody knows L'maisa what happened in the room besides for her and the man. If there's anybody else who knows about it, if there are two Eidim who know about it, seemingly the Gemara seems to apply even one A, but if there are two Eidim who know about it, even though they're Medina Sayam, even though we and Beis Din don't even know about it, because if we and Beis Din know that there are two Eidim who know about it, seemingly we wouldn't let them drink either. It's just a matter of getting them over to testify. But even if we as Beis Din don't know that there are two Eidim who saw her be Mizana, L'maisa, Rosh Hashanah is saying, based on the pasuk, God made it that the waters will not work. Now we're going to get into the Gemara today, so then that means every time the waters don't work, that means maybe there's a possibility that she really was Mizana, but there are Eidim who know about it. But that's what the Gemara is going to get to. But Rosh Hashanah's chiddush is that if Eidim know about it, the water will not work. Good question. Thank you. Says the Gemara, and he brings a proof to this idea from our Mishnah that if they're Eidim and know about it, then the waters won't work. Diktani, again, there's a case where we said that she's asur to eat truma if Eidim come and say that she was mizaneh. Says the Gemara, asu Eidim emas. When are these Eidim coming that says that she was mizaneh, which we're going to say she can't eat truma? If two Eidim come before she drank and said that she was mizaneh, so then she's a zona. And you just told me what? That if she says tamea nilach, so then l'maiseh she's going to be asur b'truma. Why do you have to tell me that tamea nilach she's asur b'truma, and then tell me if Eidim comes she's asur b'truma? Clearly, if Eidim come and then she's asur b'truma, if she says tamea nilach, even without Eidim, if we're going to say she's asur b'truma, when she self-incriminates, obviously with Eidim it's no chiddush that she's going to be asur b'truma. So it must be, what's the case where Eidim came and said that she's asur, where she's no longer going to eat truma? El lebasar deshasi. Now it's interesting because l'maiseh if Eidim come and say tamea hi, so then not only is she not going to be eating truma, she's going to be dying. But let's say in the meantime, she can't eat truma. But l'maiseh, when are they coming? El lebasar deshasi, after she drank. Because before she drank, it's not a chiddush. We already know that she's not going to be able to eat truma. So the Eidim came after she drank. Well, what happened after she drank? Well, if she was guilty, what would have happened when she drank? She would have blown up. So what do you mean she can't eat truma? Clearly what's happening is she's drinking. Eidim are coming and saying that she was tameya, and we're believing the Eidim because the drink didn't work for whatever reason. Says the Gemara, when did the Eidim come? So if it came before she's a zone, it's obvious. We already know that. El lebasar deshasi must be after she drank. Iyamar bishlma ena mayin boat kimosa shapir. So if you hold like me, if you hold not like, if you hold ena mayin boat kimosa shapir. If you say that the mayim, again, this is Rav Sheshes talking. If you hold like me, that the water is not going to work, so I understand why I believe the Eidim, because what happens? Eidim are going to come and they're going to say, yeah, but Lamaisi, if you're right that she's Tameya, so then why didn't she blow up? What do you mean, why didn't she blow up? Because water doesn't work when people like us are out there and know about the fact that she was Tameya. If you say that the water works even when people out there know, so what's going to happen? She drinks the water, there are people out there who know because they're coming to Beis the next day. So the water should have worked. The fact that the water didn't work and now there are Eidim who come and say Tameya, what's the pshat? Tigli me'el salamafred, desad shikrein inhu. We know that these Eidim are lying. Why should we believe these Eidim and say she can't eat truma? Lamaisa, the Eidim are lying. If the water works even when there are Eidim out there, that means she drank the water. Now the Eidim come. What should we say to the Eidim? We should say, what are you talking about, Tameyahi? She just drank the water yesterday, and the water works even when there are people like you out there. The fact that we're not going ahead and saying that these witnesses are liars when they come and say Tameyahi shows that the water, in fact, doesn't work when she drinks it. There are people out there. At the time that she drank it, these two Eidim who came the next day and said Tameyahi were out there. That's why the water didn't work. But nevertheless, when they come now to Beis and they testify, so we're going to believe them because that's why the water didn't work. We're going to believe them, and now she's asked to eat truma. No? Mm-hmm. Give me a look like I'm crazy. Does that make sense? Again, Rav Sheshes says if the Eidim know, then the water doesn't work. So now we have to understand something. We're saying he couldn't have him before she drank. The Maisa, the Metzius is that the only case could be that she drank and then Eidim came. She drank and then Eidim come, so one of two things happened. If in fact water works when there are Eidim out there, then what should have happened when she came? She should have died. So clearly, the fact that she didn't die, and now Eidim come the next day and say she was metame, clearly these Eidim are lying, because if in fact she was metame, then she would have died yesterday. So why aren't we saying that the Eidim are liars? We're not saying the Eidim are liars because we're saying that we believe the Eidim.
Is there a delayed effect?
So again, the question is how long. So it's not clear. Right. It's not clear. But it sounds like what Shesha would say. It doesn't matter. Shesha would say even if Eidim came 6 months later, if there are Eidim out there somewhere at the time that she drank the water, it will not work. So what happens? We're actually believing these Eidim. If we're believing the Eidim, we obviously hold that water doesn't work when there are Eidim out there. Therefore, the water didn't work yesterday when she drank. When Eidim come today, you must be the reason why the waters didn't work yesterday. And Lamaisa, now we can believe you, and we can go ahead and we can say that she's asur to truma. And furthermore, we're going to go ahead and kill her based on your testimony.
And can she drink again?
No, we're going to kill her based on the testimony. No. The whole point is that we said that in the beginning. Once you have Eidim that say Tameyahi, she doesn't drink. She dies. The only time you drink, according to Rosh Hashanah, the only time you drink is when you have two Eidim that say that she was Nistara, and now we have a suffix whether she was Metame or not. If she says she was Metame, or if Eidim say she was Metame, or if anything says she was Metame, then Lamai says she doesn't drink. So in this case, you have a case where she drank already because nobody came and said Tameyahi. She was suspected. You had two Eidim that said she was Nistara. She drank the waters. Nothing happened. Well, one of two things are possible. Either she's innocent, or there's another reason why nothing happened. Says Rosh Hashanah, no. no, it's not because she's innocent. It's because there's another reason why nothing happened, because there were Eidim out there. So when the Eidim come tomorrow, perfect. You are the reason why nothing happened. Again, because I said before these Eidim come and she drinks and nothing happens to her. So what do they say? Go home. Everything's fine. So now the option is when the Eidim come, what?
Sorry, not just go home. Everything's fine. She gets benefits.
Okay, perfect. That's why you're confused. We're going to get to it. That she's not actually going to get the benefits. We're going to get to it. But she gets benefits if she was tahora. But in this case, basically, they do say go home. You'll have a baby soon. But she goes home. Now Eidim come the next day. So what do we do with these Eidim? So the easy thing would be, we don't listen to Eidim. You guys are a shakrin. We're going to punish you like we punish Eidei Shekers, because Amaisa, they don't necessarily know that she drank yesterday. They're going to come and say, Mrs. X was matame. We got you. You must be lying because Mrs. X drank yesterday and shows you what? No. According to Rav Sheshes, we believe. Rav Sheshes says, look at our Mishnah. We believe these Eidim. How can we possibly believe the Eidim? She drank yesterday. It must be that we hold that in retrospect now we realize what happened, and we realize that the halacha is what, that we know that the Metzias is that if she drinks and there are Eidim out there, it doesn't work. Now we can believe you Eidim, because even though, okay, very nice, she drank yesterday, yeah, the reason it didn't work yesterday is because you guys were out there and you knew that she was matame. And when there are Eidim out there know that she's matame, so then the waters don't work. That's Rosh Hashem's proof. Says the Gemara, Amar le Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says, no. How can you prove from here? How can you prove that waters don't work if Eidim know? Maybe in fact waters work when in fact waters work if Eidim know, the water still works. So then Lamaisa, why did this woman not die? Or furthermore, why do we believe these Eidim if Lamaisa the water didn't work here? There's another reason why the waters won't work, quote unquote, if she has chusim. So again, according to Rosh Hashem's, the water doesn't work. If Eidim know, the water doesn't work. According to Rav Yosef, no, maybe the water, you can't, again, Rosh Hashanah is bringing a proof. So if you're saying you can't bring a proof that if Eidim know, then the water doesn't work, maybe if Eidim know, the water still works. Lamaisa, in this case, why did we believe these Eidim? And why Lamaisa did the water not work in this case? It didn't work for another reason, because she had schuyos. Says the Gemara.
Just pierced the Eidim wouldn't come.
What do you mean? If she has if she has schuyos, the Eidim wouldn't come. No, if she has schuyos, the water doesn't work.
What is the Gemara only answer explanation that she has schuyos? Why don't they also say that perhaps that he's not naki and therefore it's not going to work because he's not naki, because the Baal is not naki? Can they answer that too?
The Gemara is going to say that on the next DAF. The Gemara is going to talk about the fact that he was maybe mizana with her on the way. Fine.
No, I'm not talking mizana with her. I'm talking that he himself, in the previous times of his life, was...
Okay, could be. Rav Yosef says you don't have a proof, because I can give you another reason why in this case the waters didn't work, even though she was mizana. What's the reason? Because we know also that even when somebody's mizana and the water should work, sometimes it doesn't work if she has others chusim. But my kamifligi, I wouldn't try this at home. Like I wouldn't say, okay, I happen to have others chusim, so it's okay for me to go ahead and be a SOTAH and be mizana, and I'll just hope for the best. Everybody has chusim. What do you mean? We all have chusim. I don't know exactly what kind of chusim. We all have chusim. Even the worst of us have chusim. But my kamifligi, what are they arguing about? What are they arguing about? Whether the water works or doesn't work if Eidim know? Says the Gemara, b'masnusa de Rabbi, the wasting away of Rabbi. Ditnan. Rabbi says very interesting. Rabbi Omer. Zechus tolamayim amarms. Rabbi says you're right. If a woman has chusim, it's possible that the waters won't work, even though they should work. Again, nothing to do with Eidim out there knowing about it. The Maisa, she was mizana. Why did the waters not work? Because maybe she has chusim. But ve'eni oladis ve'eni mishabechas. Going back to Ray Black's point. Lamaisa, if a woman doesn't die with the drinking because of her chusim, she's not going to get the benefits in the pasuk. That means if you want a child, you can't go ahead and be mizana and get yourself into the SOTAH and drink, knowing that you have a lot of chusim. You can't do chesed for a year and then be mizana and then say, okay, lamaisa, I'm going to go ahead and have a child because I drank and I had this chusim, and now lamaisa, I'm going to have a child because the pasuk promises me a child. So Gemara says no, it doesn't work like that. If you have zchus, so then the zchus is tola b'mayim achram. So then the zchus pushes off the mayim amarim, but you don't get yoledis and yunamish bechas, and furthermore, elamis nafsa ve'olechas l'soshi mesa ve'osa misa. Lamaisa, what happens is you end up dying anyway. It just takes a little bit of time as you quote unquote waste away. Rav Shesha Savar. Okay, so that's what Rabbi says. Rabbi says that if you have zchusim, As Rashi explains, your betan is not going to get colored, but Lamaisa, you're not going to have a child because of that, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to die eventually, but Osamisa. You're going to blow up as a SOTAH, it's just not going to be right away. The Zechus will push off the punishment for a few months, for a few years, etc. Rav Shesha Savar, we're going to read the Rashi inside. Rav Shesha says, Bein l'Rebbe, Bein l'Rabbanan, Havi Misnabna. Now we know that Rebbe is the one who says that the Zechus pushes off the punishment for a while, but then you end up dying the same Misa as a SOTAH. Now, Rav Shesha holds that the Rabbanan don't argue on that fact, that the Zechus pushes off and you start to wither away, you start to get worse and worse and worse. The Rabbanan just argue that you don't actually die the Misa of a SOTAH. You die another Misa. That's the only thing the Rabbanan are arguing about. But Bein l'Rabbanan, Bein l'Rebbe, everybody holds that a woman who has Zechus Tolela will start to wither away. Rav Yosef says no. L'Rebbe Havi Masnabna. As you say here, Rebbe holds that a woman who has Zechus, she starts to wither away and then she eventually dies. L'Rabbanan Lo Havi Masnabna. The Rabbanan argue, says Rav Yosef, and they say that a woman with Zechus never withers away. She will die eventually, but she'll just drop dead one day. And everyone will know, oh, Lamaisa, this must be from the time that she was a SOTAH. But let's say it outside for a second. What's Rav Sheshes answering? Again, Rav Yosef says to Rav Sheshes, let's say it outside. Rav Yosef says, you can't prove from our case that Lamaisa we believe the Eidim, so you want to prove the fact that we believe the Eidim shows that what? Shows that we must not, the water must not work, because if we're believing the Eidim, then that shows that the water that she drank yesterday must not work, because if the water worked, even with Eidim out there, then she would have blown up yesterday. The fact that she didn't blow up yesterday, and we're believing the Eidim shows the reason that she didn't blow up yesterday, we're going to say is because the water doesn't work, and therefore we believe the Eidim. Very nice. Rav Shesha says, so now they try to bring a proof, and they try to say, no, this is b'masnusa de Rebbe. What does that mean? So Rav Sheshes holds that everyone will wither away if Zechus Tola. Because what did Rav Yosef say? Rav Yosef says, you can't bring me a proof, because Rav Yosef says maybe the reason that she didn't die was not because there are Eidim out there who know about it. And really, even if Eidim know about it, the water works. So Lamaisa, in this case, why didn't the water work, Rav Yosef? Because she has Zechusim. Says Rav Sheshes, that can't be. Because if she was saved because of her Zechusim, then the next day, or 2 days later, or 3 days later, she'll start to wither away. Because Lamaisa, everybody holds that, Rosh Hashanah says everyone holds that you start to wither away if you have Zechusim. The fact, so let's say we were giving the case that the Eidim came the next day. Let's say the Eidim came in 3 months from now. So what happened? The Mitzvah says Rav Shesha, 3 months from now Eidim come, and they say that woman who drank was Tameahi. We say, Eidim, you're Sheker. We're saying, no, they're not sheker, because Lamaisa water doesn't work. We say, how can you prove that water doesn't work from there? Lamaisa, maybe the reason that the water didn't work was not because there were Eidim out there, is because she had Zechusim. Says Rosh Hashanah, it can't be, because if she had Zechusim and that's what saved her, then she would have been starting to withering away the last 3 months. The fact that she hasn't been withering away the last 3 months shows there's only one reason that she was saved on the day that she was saved from drinking. It's because Lamaisa, water doesn't work when there are Eidim out there. That's what Rosh Hashanah says. What's Rav Yosef going to say to you? Rav Yosef is going to say to you, no, that's only according to Rebbe. I hold like Rabbanan that a woman doesn't wither away. So you can't prove to me that 3 months later she hasn't withered away. If she hasn't withered away 3 months later, so I can say to you, it's not that water doesn't work when Eidim know. Water works even when Eidim know. I Lamaisa, Rav Yosef, why is this woman not withering away? Because I hold like Rabbanan that the woman doesn't wither away. You'll see, she'll drop dead one day, and that'll be from the fact that she drank and she was a SOTAH. But in a Chanami, the water does work when Eidim know. Why didn't she drop dead? Because she has Zechusim. If she has Zechusim, why isn't she withering away? Because I hold that a person with Zechusim doesn't wither away. Again, you just have to cheshbon it down and you have to chazah the Gemara. But Rav Sheshes is basically defending his own shot. Rav Sheshes, for our purposes, again, if Eidim know, then the water doesn't work. If Eidim know, the water doesn't work. In this case, what's the proof? Just for the 7th time, just because, again, to make it clear, if Eidim know, so then water doesn't work. So then the Maisa, what's the proof? The proof is that we're believing these 2 Eidim. If we're believing these 2 Eidim, it obviously shows that the water doesn't work. Because if the water works, even with Eidim out there, then the woman would have gone ahead and she would have blown up. And then we wouldn't believe the Eidim, and we would go ahead and say, you're Shaker. The fact that we're believing these Eidim show that we hold that if Eidim are out there, then the water doesn't work. So the water doesn't work, that's why she didn't blow up. But Lamaisa, when the Eidim come and say to me, we're going to believe her. Says Rav Yosef, no, maybe the reason she didn't blow up was not because the Eidim were out there. Maybe, in fact, the water should have worked, and the water would have worked, even with the Eidim out there. Why aren't we accusing these Eidim are being Eid Sheker, because Lamaisa, we can say there's another reason. Einachanami, she was Mizana, just like those Eidim say. So why didn't she die? She didn't die because she had Zchusim. Says Rav Sheshes, it can't be that she didn't die because she didn't have Zchusim. Because Eidim came a month later, and we see she hasn't withered away in the entire month. And everyone holds that if she would have been saved because of Zchusim, she would have started to wither away. It must be, why was she saved? She was saved because there were Eidim out there, and the water doesn't work when Eidim are out there. Says Rav Yosef, you can't disprove me from there. Lamaisa, the fact that she didn't wither away, that's according to you. But I hold, like the Rabbanan who say, that even if Zchus are Tolala, if Zchus save you, then you don't wither away, and you'll see. And therefore you have this Machlokes, Rosh Hashanah and Rav Yosef, why in fact this woman was saved. Rav Yosef will tell you, if Eidim know, then the water still works, and Lamaisa, this woman was saved because of Zchusim. She didn't wither away, because women don't wither away after they're saved by Zchusim. Rav Yosef will say, and Rosh Hashanah will say, no. If Eidim know, the water doesn't work, and Lamaisa, this woman was saved because Eidim knew. That's the Gemara. Masiv Rav Shimi Barashi. So Rav Shimi Barashi brings a kashya on Rav Sheshes again, who holds that if Eidim know, then the water doesn't work. Says Rav Shimi Barashi, Rav Shimon Omer Ein Zchus Tola Maimar. Zchus are not Tola Maimar. That means that he basically holds that it's not true. Women can't be saved from a Zchus. Okay, he holds like unclear. It sounds like maybe Rav Sheshes can hold like him. Rav Shimon holds Chus is never Tola Maimarim. Why? V'imata Omer is Chus Tola Maimarim. Because if we would hold that Chus could be Tola Maimarim, God created it that Chus will not save you from the waters. Why? Because if it did, then we'd have two problems. First of all, Madcha Atoras Hamayim Ifnei Kol Anashim Ashosos. First of all, the first problem is that if Chusim actually saved you, then we would have a lot of women drinking from the thing, because every woman, right? The whole point is to scare a woman from drinking. Right? We put Shem Hashem, etc., etc. So Lamaisa, if we hold that Chusim can save you, every woman's going to drink, because every woman who doesn't think that they're tzaddikas, especially if you're an adulterer, you think you're a tzaddikas. So what does she do? So she's going to think that Lamaisa, I'm going to drink because my Chusim are going to save me. So the fact that if we're going to say that Chusim would save a woman, so Lamaisa, every single woman's going to drink, because everybody's going to think that they're a tzaddikas. So it can't be, says Rosh Shimon, that Chusim save a woman, or else Lamaisa, then every woman's going to drink and we're going to go crazy. And not only that, we have a deeper problem if you tell me that Chusim work. What's going to happen? A woman's going to drink and nothing's going to happen to her. What's everybody going to say? Nobody's going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she was innocent. What are they going to say? She must have been mezana, but she has chus. The next day in the paper it's going to say, woman drinks, not innocent, guilty, but Lamaisa, she has some chusim, she must have done something good in her life. Says the Gemara, any Torah woman who drinks now is going to be assumed that she was really mezana, but she had chusim. So therefore, he says that tzchus doesn't work. 1 second. Says the Gemara, if we use Rav Shimon Svara, so then this is going to be a problem. Rav Sheshes is a problem using this svara. Let's plug Rav Shimon Svara into Rav Sheshes now. Rav Sheshes says that if Eidim know about it, then the water doesn't work. So what's going to happen? Now, if you in fact believe that when Eidim know about it, the water doesn't work, what's going to happen? So women are just going to drink, because women are always going to assume that what? Somebody, if the woman actually was mezana and she knows that the Eidim were there, she's going to drink because she knows, Lamaisa, that Eidim knew about it. But even worse, every time somebody drinks now, what's going to happen? What are we going to say? We're going to say, she's not innocent, she's guilty, but the waters didn't work, not because of Zechus, and the water didn't work because there must be Eidim somewhere out there who know that she was really guilty. So you have the same problem. If you can tell me that Zechusim shouldn't work because it's going to discourage women, it's going to encourage women to drink, and it's going to basically make all the Taharos look bad, so then you should say the same thing. It says the Gemara, why Rosh Hashanah? How can you say that the water doesn't work if in fact she's, if in fact Eidim know? That means every woman's going to go ahead and drink because they're just going to assume, okay, the Eidim, they know that the Eidim saw me, so they're going to go. But more importantly, every woman's going to drink, and what's going to happen? And when the women are Tahora, everybody's going to say, she's not Tahora. There must be Eidim out there who just haven't stepped up to the plate yet, who knows that she was actually mizana.
Isn't there a problem if she's drinking, that she has spusim, if you say that, and she doesn't get affected by it? People, even her husband will assume she's innocent,
right?
But she's not innocent.
So Rav Shimon is saying that if no, so the husband's going to assume that she's innocent.
Right. She's not innocent.
Well, again, we have to assume that she'll end up dropping dead one day. Yeah, but Rav Shimon's problem is you can't. Rav Shimon's problem is basically, I don't know if you're arguing the same thing. Rav Shimon is basically saying this is not going to work if we start saying that God gave this. If God said you can get off the hook with chusim, that's not going to work. Because on my side, what's going to happen is everybody's going to assume that every single woman now, the opposite. We have a tendency as humans to assume the worst and to be pessimistic. Right. So he's saying as humans, what are we going to do? Every time somebody's innocent, nobody's going to be innocent anymore. We're always going to assume the worst. We're always going to assume that every single woman either has Eidim who know about it and aren't coming, or lamaisa she has chusim. But nobody's ever going to be assumed innocent anymore. The opposite. Not that the husband's going to think she's innocent. He's arguing that every single man is going to go... What?
Why don't they say like me, that if she... I always, until now, more that a person drinks, if they're guilty, they blow up, and that...
So Gemara is telling you it's not necessarily true. Rav Shimon is saying it's true. Rav Shimon is saying it's true because the Maisa is Zechusim don't work and Nadim out there don't work, because if it works, so then nobody would ever be innocent. Everybody would just assume to be guilty every single time. Rav Sheshet doesn't hold like that. Rav Sheshet holds no. If Nadim know about it, the Maisa the water doesn't work. So the Gemara says the Rav Shimon Kamart. The Gemara answers why is Rav Sheshet not worried about it? The Rav Shimon Kamart. Rav Shimon is the one who's worried about laws. Rav Shimon midischus lotalia edim nami lotalu. Rav Shimon is the one who holds that schus doesn't work, and therefore he's going to logically assume that God couldn't have made it that the water doesn't work with edim, because if everybody, again, this is assuming everybody in the world knows the rules. If everybody in the world knows the rules that if edim know, then the water doesn't work, everybody's always going to assume the worst. Everybody's going to be motzi laws, and therefore says Rav Shimon, there's no ways out. The way you're saying, Lamaisa was schusim with edim knowing about it. Lamaisa she blows up. That's the way that God made it. You like Rav Shimon, you're a Rav Shimon Jew. Rav Sheshet says no. Rav Sheshet says no. Lamaisa, we don't. What do you want me to do? In Svara, you might make sense, but either Rav Sheshet is not worried about laws, or Rav Sheshet is going to tell you, what do you want me to do? I have a diuk in the pasuk, ve'ed ein la. There's no ve'ed ein ba. There's no aid. What do you want me to tell you? God set it up. However, why did He set it up? I can't tell you. Why wasn't God worried about laws? I can't tell you. But the Lamaisa, God set it up ve'ed ein ba. If there's no aid out there, so then the waters work. If there's an aid out there, then the waters work. So either Rav Sheshet will tell you, I'm not worried about laws, or Rav Sheshet will tell you, ein echanami, we're worried about laws, but what do you want me to do? This is the way that God set up the system.
A deceptive woman would be perhaps nus with somebody, knowing that the Adim are in the room and telling them to leave.
Okay, but the deceptive woman would
set up a really terrible situation.
But the Adim can come. Okay, but why would she even? Okay, you're assuming that she's going to become a SOTAH. Why would she even bother becoming a SOTAH? If she wants to be Mizana, she doesn't have to bring Adim. It's not like okay, I want to be Mizana, so let me go get Adim in case I become a SOTAH. Just make sure nobody sees you when you go into the room, and you're much better off.
She was warned already. Then
she was warned, and then so once she was warned, she's saying if she's warned, if she's warned and she wants to be with the guy, so then there's a way to set up a situation where she knows about it. Either do a lot of chesed, or you should go ahead and you should find or you should find two Eidim but then you're assuming you're going to find two Eidim that are going to get along with your plan. Okay. Masiv Rav. Another kasha. So we pushed off, and we still have Rav Sheshet saying if Eidim no, water doesn't work. Aizel Masiv Rav, how can you say that? Rav Sheshet, how can you say that? Either that's the way God set up the system, or I'm not worried about laws. I assume Jews are better than that, and they're not going to be assuming the worst of everybody. Masiv Rav. Ve'elushim in Chosei Nisrafos. It's taking a long time. There are three SOTAHs. There are SOTAHs who the mincha is burnt. Now we know that when a SOTAH comes in to drink, so she drinks the water, but she also has to bring a korban mincha. So there are certain cases where she's not going to drink the water, as we'll see, and if she doesn't drink the water and she already prepared the korban mincha, flour and oil, etc., what do we do with that korban mincha now? Well, if you just prepare flour and oil for no reason, then you can just do whatever you want with it. Or it could be poded. But if you prepared it for the reason of being a SOTAH, and now all of a sudden you can't drink, so you got to burn that. What's a case where you can't drink? How Meris Tameani. If she actually admits, right? She goes through the process. The whole point is that we try to get her to admit. So Tameani, she goes ahead, and before she drinks, she already prepared the korban mincha. She says Tameani. She's not going to drink. Now the korban mincha has got to go ahead and be burnt. Because what else are we going to do with it? Says the Gemara, V'shebolo Eidim she Tamea. Or the Eidim come and say that she's Tamea before she drinks, seemingly before she drinks. So now the korban mincha gets burned. To asu Eidim emas. When exactly did these Eidim come? Elima, again, the Eidim came seemingly in this case before she drank. But was it before or after she was mekadesh the korban mincha? Because you don't just separate the korban mincha, you have to put it into a kli shares. Once you put it into the kli shares, now it becomes kadosh. Okay, so leimad mikame diktikdosh. If you say that they came before she was mekadesh the korban mincha, tepek lechulin, then that can't be the pshat, because then why would it be burnt? Lemaisa, if they come and say that she was tameya, so then why are we burning the korban mincha if it hasn't been put into the kli shares yet? I understand if it's been put in the kli shares. El labasa the kiddush, it was put into the kli shares. We're ready to go. She's ready to drink. Eidim say, wait, don't let her drink. Lemaisa, we saw that she was mizaneh, therefore she doesn't now go ahead and drink. She's going to be, again, she might get killed or whatever the testimony is if she was warned. But now what do we do with this mincha that's already in the kli shares? We have to burn it. Says the Gemara, Iyamar bishlama mayim bodkin. Listen to this chiddush. This is a geshmak chiddush. Iyamar bishlama mayim bodkin osa alma bas mekadesh mekarfi. We're proving against Rav Sheshet hold that if Eidim know, then it doesn't work. Because again, what happened? Eidim come now. So Edom clearly knew at the time that she put the Korban Mincha into the Kli Sharis, there were Edom out there who have not yet come. There were Edom out there who knew about it. Says the Gemara, if you argue that Mayim Bostin Mosa Alma Bas Mekadishu Mekari Fiviki Kadosh Meikara Shaper Kadosh Mishum Hachi Minchas and Isreves. Fascinating svara. If you tell me that the waters work even when Edom know about it, that means that there were Edom out there, the Edom who now came in front of us, but there were Edom out there when she went ahead and put the Korban Mincha into the Kli Sharis. If you hold that the waters work when there are Edom out there, that means that at the time that she put the Mincha into the Kli Sharis, she was still eligible to go ahead and drink the waters, and therefore now when the Edom come, the Mincha was in the Kli Sharis, and Lamaisa we need to burn the Korban Mincha. But if you hold like Rav Shesha said, if Edom know about it, I'll say it outside, then the waters will not work, then these Edom were out there at the time that she put the Korban Mincha into the Kli Sharis. The fact that they knew about it when she put the water into the Kli Sharis means that by definition the whole process could never have worked. It wasn't possible that it was going to work even if the Edom didn't come, because Lamaisa Rav Shesha holds that if Edom know about it, the process doesn't work. That means at the time that she put the Mincha into the Kli Sharis, there was no possibility of the process happening. If there was no possibility of the process happening, very nice you put into the Kli Sharis, but why should you have to burn it? Lamaisa, everything, all the cards were off the table before you even did anything, because there were Edom out there who knew about it. Must be that when Edom are out there, you still have the waters working. If the waters still work even when Edom are out there, when she put it into the Kli Sharis, she was actually Mekadesh it the way that she was going through the entire process. It happens to be in Mitzias, now that they come, we need to burn it because Lamaisa she can't drink, so now we need to burn it. Says the Gemara, Ela Iamart, like Rav Sheshes, Einamayin Bokim Masa, Tigle Milsa Lemafreya, we should retroactively prove now when the Edom come, Dechi Kadosh Meikara Betaos Kadosh, that when she was Mekadesh in the beginning of the Kli Sharis, it was Betaos, because she would never, the waters would have never worked anyway, because there were Edom that happened to have been out there who knew that she was Metame. V'tepek L'chulin. So why are we burning it? It should go L'chulin. Lamaisa, it's like doing it for no purpose. Rav Yehuda Midiskarta, Kigon Shezinsa Bazar. Crazy. No. I'll tell you what happened. Dechi Kadosh Meikara Shaper Kadosh. The case over here is that Lamaisa, she was suspected, and she went into a room with a man, and now she needs to drink the waters of the SOTAH. And what happened? It's true that if Edom know, the water doesn't work. If Edom know, then the water doesn't work. So Lamaisa, then when she put away the Korban Mincha here into the Kli Sharis, then it wasn't possible for it to happen, and it shouldn't be no. At the time that she put the thing into the Kli Sharis, there were no Edom out there who knew that she did anything wrong, because she hadn't done anything wrong yet. So why are we burning it? Because before she drinks, she needs a bathroom. She says, we'll see in the Gemara in a second. She's about to drink. She says, hold on a second, I need a break. She walks away for a second. She's mizana. And at that time, now she can no longer drink, because now two Edom come and say, wait, we just saw her be mizana in the Azara. Now she can't drink, but we have to burn the mincha, because at the time that she put in the mincha, there had been nothing wrong yet. She was in the right process to drink the SOTAH waters, and therefore we need to go ahead and bring. How was she mizana in the Azara? Maskila Rav Misharsha, it's the latest rabbinic scandal. The Pirchei Kahuna are with her. How is it possible that she was mizana in the Azara? Says the Gemara, Shezinsa mi Pirchei Kahuna Atzman. She came and she was mizana with the Pirchei Kahuna.
Maybe they're under 9.
When I think Pirchei, I think Miami Boys Choir. I don't know. Oh yeah. Maybe we should pick a new name. This is not such a good name. Shezinsa mi Pirchei Kahuna Atzman. But again, for our purposes, let's not lose track of what we're thinking about here. For our purposes, Rav Sheshes, we asked the Kasha on Rav Sheshes, why would we have to burn the Korban Mincha if there were Edom out there? Lamaisa, according to you, when Edom are out there, then the waters won't work. If the waters won't work, when she put it aside, then the Mincha shouldn't have been done. It was done B'tos, and it should go L'chul. And why are we burning it? We're burning it because Einachanami. There were no Edom out there at the time. If there were Edom out there at the time that she put away the Mincha, you're right. It would go L'chulin. There were no Edom out there because she hadn't done anything, quote-unquote, wrong yet. She hadn't been Mizana yet. She had been Nistra. She did something wrong. She was Nistra. She needs to drink the water. She's ready to drink the water. She's on track. She does the Korban Mincha in the Kli Sharis. She's on track.
And she commits.
Then, one second, and then who are these Edom that are coming then and telling that Tameya? They're telling us Tameya, she just after doing the Mincha, then she was Mizana. Right before she drinks. And now she doesn't drink. Now what do we do with the Korban Mincha? We have to burn it. Because when it was done B'Kedusha V'Tara. Says the Gemara, Boy Ravashi Amar, Kagon Nitzracha L'Nikaveha. De'atu pirchei kuna b'kifa talila. Rav Shashi says, no, come on, don't blame the pirchei kuna. It wasn't that she was mezana with the pirchei kuna. So Lamaisa, she wasn't mezana with the pirchei kuna. How did she do? So what happened? She said, I need to go to the bathroom. What happened? She said, I need to go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom. You think the pirchei kuna are coming with her into the bathroom? Says, well, no, they're going to give her a few seconds. She had it set up that some guy was crazy to think, but some guy met her in the bathroom of the Azara in the base of Migdash. They're mezana. And again, Rosh Hashanah says, that's why we need to go ahead and burn the mincha, because at the time that he put the mincha into the klisharis, that she put the mincha into the klisharis, she hadn't been mezana yet, and there were no Eidim out there, and therefore it was done with Kedusha V'Tara. L'maisa, now the Eidim come running out of the bathroom and saying, well, we just saw her be mezana in the bathroom over here, in the Azara, so now she can't go ahead and she can't drink. Now we need to go ahead and burn the Kor Mincha. But you have no proof against me, says Rosh Hashanah. Rav Papa Amar, let's finish up here. Rav Papa Amar le'olam kidamrina meikar. Rav Papa is going to be brave, and Rav Papa is going to say no. I'm going to answer the question even without coming up with this crazy case that she was zinsa ba'azara. L'maisa, if she wasn't zinsa ba'azara, so that means, let's go back a second. There were Eidim out there who knew what she did. If there were Eidim out there who knew what she did, so then when she did it, it wasn't Bigdusha V'Tara. L'maisa, why are we burning the Korban Mincha? According to Rav Sheshes, if Eidim are out there, then the waters don't work. If the waters don't work, it wasn't done properly. If it wasn't done properly, it should be l'chulin. Says Rav Papa, Udika Amar tebek l'chulin midirabanan. I'll say it outside, but Rashi says, you're right. Rav Sheshes will tell you the fact that we burn this chulin, the fact that we burn this mincha, we don't really have to burn the mincha, because it wasn't done within the process of SOTAH, because somebody out there knew about it. L'mais, it's really chulin. Why are we burning it? We're burning it midirabanan. On a doraisa level, we don't have to burn it. Midirabanan, we need to burn it. Why do we need to burn it midirabanan? Because what's going to happen? People are going to look at you, and they're going to know that this SOTAH brought a korban mincha. And if we see that now it's going l'chulin, and we're not burning it, what are they going to think? They think it's possible for things to go from a mincha, and now all of a sudden they could go l'chulin. They're not going to know the reason that it's going l'chulin here is because there were Eidim out there who went ahead and who knew about it, and therefore it was really done inappropriately. Really, they're going to think, okay, it's okay for korbanos in general, for the mincha, once it's in the klisharis, it's okay to go l'chulin. So really, midoraisa and achanami could go l'chulin. Midirabanan, for a totally separate reason, that we're worried about what other people out there are going to learn and what they're going to do in the future. Therefore, in a case like this, where Eidim knew about it at the time, so we go ahead and we need to burn it. Because people won't realize that's why we're not bringing it. That's why it's going l'chulin. But in achanami, mitzada din, it goes l'chulin. Why does it go l'chulin? Because there were Eidim out there who knew about it. If there were Eidim out there who knew about it, then the waters would have never worked. If the waters would have never worked, she did it inappropriately. She did it inappropriately. It should really go l'chulin, and therefore it says Rosh Hashanah, that's why it has to be burnt. Midirabanan, but really midiraisa, you're right. According to my opinion, it can go l'chulin. Masiv Rav Meri. Rav Meri says, we're going to read this brisa, but we only need the last part of the brisa. Masiv Rav Meri. Nitma minchas. This is not the woman becoming tamei. If you have a regular korban mincha, now it becomes tamei with regular tuma. Achelo kitcha bekli. Before it's actually mekadosh in the kli. Harei kechol amenachos v'tipada. So before it was put into the kli, it becomes tamei. You can redeem it, and now you can do whatever you want with it. Misha kitcha bekli. Once it's in the kli, and now it becomes tamei. Harei kechol amenachos v'tisarif. Understandably, it needs to be burnt once it was in the kli and it becomes tamei. Chadash hakomet. Now part of the korban mincha is when the kohen goes ahead and he scoops part of it into a separate kli sharetz. So if he goes ahead and he takes it and he's mekadosh it into a kli sharetz, v'lo hispek lakrivo at shemesu at shemesahi. And now what happens? Either the husband dies or the woman dies. Well, once the husband or woman dies, now she no longer drinks. If she dies, obviously she doesn't drink. But even if the husband dies, she no longer drinks. That's the halacha. If the husband dies before she drinks, she no longer drinks. So what happens to this korban mincha that was mekadosh? Harei kechol menachos v'tisarif. It needs to be burnt because again, it was done in the process, and at the time that it was set aside, everything was going well, and then unfortunately the husband died. Says the Gemara, let's say it went even further. They were mekadesh the komets and they gave it to the kohen to start eating. And now, I guess seemingly it seems like they gave it to the kohen to start eating even before she drank. And now all of a sudden she drops dead. The kohen, the halach is a kohen can still eat it even though theoretically it should be burnt if it wasn't yet given to the kohen. Because the ma'aseh was already given to him. Because everything was done along the process. It happens to be that she died, but until the point that she died, everything was done in the process, and even though in retrospect there was no purpose to this kometz mincha, since the kohen already had it at the time that she died, even though she's not going to drink now, obviously, or at the time that he died, then she's not going to drink, the ma'aseh he could keep it. Here's our important thing for us. Again, masiv, we're asking a kasha on Rosh Hashanah. Nimsu eideha zomimin. Minchas chulin. Let's say she goes through the whole process. She puts the mincha aside. She puts it in the kli sharetz. All of a sudden, right before she drinks, eideha zomimin. The Eidim that said that she was nistara are found to be lying. This is Gemara Makos, how exactly Zomin works. You were with us in the cottage at the time. This is very specific details. But Lemaisa, they were found to be Zomin. So look outside for a second. Don't say the Gemara says. We don't know the Gemara says Minchas chulin. What would you say that if they are Zomimin? So if they are Zomimin, what should the halacha be? Eidel Zomimin, so it means everything that she did was basically for no purpose, and it should be L'chulin. Says the Gemara, it's L'chulin. The problem is what? What should it be? It should be burnt on a Dirabanan level. According to Rav Sheshes, it should be burnt on a Dirabanan level. The fact that it's not burnt on Dirabanan level shows that what? It's talking about Midaraisa. So therefore, in the case of Eidel Zomimin on Diraisa level, it's Chulin, because if it was really that we have this halacha that you burn things on a Dirabanan level, then this should have been burnt also. Therefore, it must be, for whatever reason, in this case, Eidem Zomimin, so on a Diraisa level, it's going to be Chulin, which must mean that we don't burn things on Dirabanan level. If we don't burn things on Dirabanan level, then our Brisa, which says that it's Nisrafin, must be on a Diraisa level. If it's on a Diraisa level, then you have a problem. Why is it on a Doraisa level? According to you, Lamaisa, she did it the wrong way. It was never good because there were Edom out there, and Lamaisa, it should be Chulin. Says Rashi, I just want to read the Rashi, then we'll end with this. Rashi says, the second wide line, Min Chasa Chulin, Lo kedushas pev, lo kedushas kliva in ma'olim ba b'taos hava. Alma lo amrinon tisarif midirabanan ki nimso eidel zomimim. Because we should have said that lemaisa, if it's true that we burn things midirabanan, we should have said that when he has edim zomimim, that we burn it midirabanan. Shema yomu motzimi klishar sachol. Because people are going to see that what are we doing? We're moving it lachol. We should be worried that people are not going to know that the reason that we're moving it lachol is because of the eidel zomimim, and we should burn it. Ushma mina ki kitani baola edim shitamev min chatan nisrev, and it must be midaraisa ka'amar. Dibas mekadish hava. It must be, the reason is because it's Kaddish. Why is it Kaddish? Because Amaisa, water works, even if Edom know about it outside. Says the Gemara, no. Edom zomamin ka'amart, Edom zomamin kala islahu. No. In general, Nisrefen means on a Durabanan level. According to Rav Sheshes, so why in the case of Edom Zomamin are we not burning it? Because when there are Edom Zomamin, it makes the news. And the next day in the paper, the front of the paper is going to say, there were Edom Zomamin in this case. So nobody's going to assume that in this case, the Mincha was actually eaten. It was brought out L'chulin. Everybody's going to know the reason that in this case it was allowed to be L'chulin is because it was a special case of Edom Zomamin. You're not going to go and draw a conclusion, in general, Minchas can be eaten out L'chulin. No, in this specific case, where there were Edom Zomamin, Minchas is L'chulin. But in the other case, in the case where there were Edom b'Medinas Hayam, who later come up, that's not going to make as much news, because it's not as exciting as Edom Zomamin. Therefore, in that case, when we see the woman going in and taking the Mincha and eating it L'chulin, what are we going to assume? That it's okay L'chulin. And therefore, we need to be Nisrafit on a Dirabana level, and everything is glot. Let's just finish to the Mishnah. Tanya Kavase de Rav Sheshes. Now we have a proof for Rav Sheshes. Rav Sheshes who says, where are you going? I have until 9:30, no? Rav Sheshes, just so you guys get spoiled with Nadarim and Nazir and everything, so we get 20-minute DAFs. The DAF's supposed to be an hour. So in this place, we do it for 45 minutes. Fine. But I need to start cutting out from the 45 minutes. It's just not proper. Tanya Kavase de Rav Sheshes. V'lav mitameh. It's for a different reason. So we have a brisa that supports Rav Sheshes. Says Rav Sheshes again, if Edom know the water doesn't work, where do we see a proof that supports Rav Sheshes? Tahora, and this is again what we said. Tahora, v'lo sheyesh la Edom b'Medinas Hayam. The fact that she's Tahora, and again, we discussed before whether she'll actually die, and seemingly she'll die anyway. But Tahora, she only gets Tahora, and she only gets the benefits of having the children in a case where she's actually Tahora. Not in a case where she was only Tahora because there were Edom b'Medinas Hayam. Tahora means that she gets the benefits only if she's really Tahora. V'lo shetal salaz chus. Not if she got off the hook because of schusim. You don't get the kids because of that. She's only v'lo sheyisu v'yinu ba'mozos belamana. There's another case where she gets off the hook. If everyone knows she's guilty, if even the woman who spins thread by the light of the moon know that she's guilty, then the water won't kill her. So you can't be mezana in public after you're SOTAH. You can't be mezana in public and now drink the waters and everything will be fine because everyone knows that you're mezana. You're not going to get kids because of that. But what's the proof? What do we see here? We see over here that the Gemara brings this pshat v'lo sheyesh la Edom b'Medinas Hayam. We see the idea of a woman drinking when there are Edom b'Medinas Hayam, and we see that she's going to live, and the Gemara is teaching us that what? She's just not going to have the children. But we see clearly here that she's going to drink it, and nothing's going to happen to her. According to the way the Rav Yosef learned, when she drank it here, what would happen? She would die. So what's the Gemara telling me? You're not going to have kids. Of course you're not going to have kids. You're going to blow up. Says the Gemara, it must be like Rav Sheshes says, that if Edom know the water doesn't work, and the Gemara needs to tell you, yes, it doesn't work, but Lamai says she's not going to get rewarded. For Rabbi Shimon, now the Gemara says, what about Rabbi Shimon? Rabbi Shimon is the one who said what? Rabbi Shimon says that Ein Zchus Tolaba. So Rabbi Shimon, this seems to be a direct proof against him, because it's saying in the case where you have Zchusim, so you're not going to have the kids. But that implies that we hold of this idea of Zchusim. Rabbi Shimon's the one who said we don't hold of Zchusim, and we don't hold of Eidim going ahead and pushing it off. Nehi de Vav lo darish. Even if you want to tell me he doesn't learn this Vav of Tahora, and therefore Velosha Talsala Zchus, and therefore he holds Einachanami, Zchusim can save you, and this Gemara which is excluding Zchusim he doesn't learn. But Lamaisa we have the actual word Tahora, which seems to exclude what? Eidim that are b'medinat Yam. And if you remember, Rav Shimon held what? Rav Shimon held that Eidim b'medinat Yam don't work, and Zchusim don't work, nothing works. The Gemara here clearly seems to be saying that Eidim b'medinat Yam is going to work, and you're just not going to get rewarded for it. So how does Rav Shimon learn this? Says Rav Shimon, v'ha'ika yesh. It seems in the Gemara that Lamaisa Eidim Medinat Yam does work, like Rav Shesha says, and the water, when I say does work, that means the water is not going to work, and therefore the Gemara needs to tell you that she's not going to get rewarded, but she's not going to get killed. Lo shchicha. Says Rav Shimon lo shchicha v'lo maske inshi adatayu lechatshinu l'toros b'hachi. Again, Rav Shimon is the one who holds that the reason that Eidim wouldn't work, and the reason why even if they're Eidim Medinat Yam the water would have to work, and the reason why even if she has chus and the water would have to work is because we're worried about laws. It's not shchiach that they're going to be Eidim Medinat Yam. So therefore, since it's not shchiach that they're going to be Eidim Medinat Yam, we're going to say, okay, I agree that when they're Eidim Medinat Yam, we can say that in fact the water doesn't work. By schos, the water will still work. But I agree to you, Rav Shesha, that since it's not common for Eidim to be Medinat Yam, I will agree that if Eidim no, then the water in fact doesn't work. But again, most importantly, she will not get the benefits of having children.